Welcome back to What Do You Know with Nick and Devin. I am Devin.
And I'm Nick.
Thanks for being here, everybody. Nicholas.
You?
I feel like you like slightly tense whenever I go, Nicholas.
Yes.
Because you know it's going to be a good question.
Good is the way I describe it.
I'll start doing I'll start saying Nick instead of Nicholas, but I like...
You like doing that.
Yeah.
I
like seeing you twitch a little bit.
You like torture. That's fine. Mm-hmm.
Anyway, Nicholas, you do a lot of fundraising.
Sure.
I'd say. Mm-hmm. What has been your favorite fundraiser event? See, not that bad of a question.
That's not too bad of a question.
You can also slam on your least favorite if you want to. We won't have to add names. I'm here for the goss.
Yeah.
But at least answer your favorite one.
My favorite one. I went to a fundraiser at Center in Halstead.
Sure.
Which, for those who don't know, is like a gay kind of community center. They do a lot of different events, and they have a theater in there, but they also do a lot of things with health and education and things like that. So
awesome.
Kind of a central point around that. And so that fundraiser was really fun just because I don't know, you're with your people, you're talking about the educational things that they'll do. The silent auction was pretty good one, to be honest. So that was probably the most fun, and then we partied afterwards.
Yeah, was it fundraising for the center itself, or was it a different cause?
No, for the center itself.
Cool.
Which is great.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
It sounds like an awesome community center.
Yeah, it was good, and we had done a lot of work with them. When I worked for Starbucks, we had donated some things with them and did some work with them that way, and so being able to just also be there and be a part of that was fun.
Be part of the Gen Pop.
Yeah, if you will.
Yeah.
The least fun was, I don't know. We had to host. We hosted one back when I did theater. Mm-hmm. We did a silent auction sort of things.
Yeah.
And that's probably the most uncomfortable because you're just anybody want to bid on the thing that I brought? Anyone? That's just really awkward to
It's a solo performance of Hamlet.
Yeah, exactly. It's just awkward, and then people get weird because then people really want something, so then they're boxing other people out, and then people are drinking, and so then you're managing that and not the one drinking, and so that kind of got a little odd.
Sure.
And so I would never. Nah, I wouldn't say that. I would host another one, but better. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I have always wanted to do a black tie fundraising event. You know what I mean? Whether I host it or I go to it, I've always wanted to do that.
Yeah.
A charity kind of ball, that sort of thing. But I never have. I don't think I ever will because it's a lot of fucking money.
There's still time.
There's still time. That's true.
You're only in your 30s.
One day when I'm rich, if I keep saying it, it'll happen.
It's gotta happen.
It's gotta happen, baby. Right? But I'm get a tux, go do the whole thing. That would be fun.
It's you can't rent a tux for that event. You have to own your own tux. Otherwise, they will know.
They will know. They'll be absolutely not. Sir,
Men's Warehouse,
you
please.
Cannot come in. Yeah, exactly.
What? This is my event.
Are you the 8th person who's worn those shoes? Get out of here. Yeah, horrifying.
The staff comes through the back door.
Truly. Well, that's Pause. And I fundraised for Pause for the marathon.
Yeah.
And Pause does their annual fur ball.
Oh.
Yikes on the name. But that always looks that always looks really nice. But I think they do a thing where it's they have the silent auction, which you can bid online too, but then you also buy a table. And I'm that's crazy.
Oh, you're supposed to bring a couple people.
Purchase a table of 10.
Yeah.
And so either everyone gives money for the table, or one person buys it and then you bring people.
Yeah. Or you and your partner just sitting across the table alone,
which you can't do.
Yeah.
Because then we're watching Gilmore Girls, and Emily has to go to this rare manuscripts dinner, and she's we have a table, but now all these people are dropping out, so now I have to call people and be or they forgot about it, and they're we need you to show up, and they're we have to have the right amount of people. You can't not fill your table, or else you're not invited again, or you're not welcomed again. And so I'm now if I bought a table for 10, which also is $5,000, now shit. I'm inviting all of these 10 people, and they have to show up.
Yeah. Well, I guess $5,000 divided by 10 people isn't full. I mean, that's still pretty. That's steep.
What, 500 a person?
500 each.
Yeah.
That's pretty steep.
Yep. Correct. But this is why I have to get in with like a good company.
Yeah.
And then you do the corporate things. And you have like the corporate card sponsor
yeah.
and then you go to attendance. And I go, look at all the good I did through my company.
Exactly.
And I don't have to front it.
No. But your name's attached to it.
Exactly. You get it. You get it. So that's what I'm looking forward to. Have you been to fundraisers?
Yeah.
Okay.
I've been to a few. I think my most memorable, my most recent was I did like a pause, like 3K or something like that.
Oh, cute.
That was a couple years ago. But like that one was fine. That was fun.
Sure.
I think my most memorable are like the classic one, Relay for Life in high school.
Oh, sure.
Where you just like kept walking around the track all night. I mean, that was fun in high school. It was like, staying up all night, partying with my friends, sleeping in a tent. I got to DJ for that one.
That's fun.
So that was cool. I remember our senior year, like it was held in the field house, so like an indoor track.
Yeah.
Because of the weather. And I slept on the field house floor and I woke up and like couldn't breathe.
Yeah. That's not surprising.
There was also in high school this thing called, and they still do it, called Rockathon for the radio station. We would raise money.
I remember that, yeah.
We would be live both on radio, air, and then also TV through the high school's TV studio. For 88.1 hours over President's Day weekend. That was fun. A lot of shenanigans happened then. And then in college, we did this thing called Skin Prov, which we only raised... I don't think you did.
Okay. It's like,
we only did it as a fundraiser 1 year, and I thought it should have been it for multiple years, but... You know, it happens.
Right.
I was president of the improv troupe. Didn't happen.
You were incredible.
I had a lot of other things going on.
That's fair.
But essentially, like, we did an improv show and, like, stripped down throughout the show as people donated it. And, like, we gave it to this group that helps fund surgeries for kids in, I'm going to say Africa, but, like, in underdeveloped countries. They're cleft palate.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. Look at you doing good.
Look at me.
So good.
One day it'll come back.
I will say the most formidable fundraiser is always the classic pancake breakfast.
Yeah, that
you
slaps.
can't beat those pancakes.
No.
And that sausage. Like, you just can't. Like, it's just
so
always
good.
going to be good.
Yeah.
It's just always going to be good.
Something about it. Just always.
I know.
Yeah.
And then
like,
people will be like, oh, you want to just get pancakes? I'm like, no, you don't get it.
This is different. These
you
are
just don't
pancakes
get
for your
it.
soul.
Correct. You don't get it. I can't just go get pancakes.
No. I'm pouring syrup all over my good spirit.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. I've heard you say that before. Is that what you call it?
Awesome. So, this topic is kind of related to fundraising.
Okay.
And I'm going to ask the titular question of, what do you know about Balloonfest 86?
Balloonfest 86?
That's the one.
Okay. It happened in 1986.
Correct.
Thank you. And it was hot air balloons?
No.
Damn it. I got nothing.
Well, I will tell you.
Thank you.
So,
okay, never mind.
No, yeah, go ahead.
For some reason, my mind went to, not yucking anyone's yum, but people who are really into like balloon play.
Oh, yeah. Sitting on balloons and be like, wow, that popped.
Real nice. Yeah. Is it like that?
No, that'd be a lot more fun.
That would be insane. Like if there was an incident that happened at one of those conventions, could you imagine?
It'd be
the chaos that could ensue.
I would love it. This takes place in Cleveland, so I don't think they know anything about that.
Sure, that's fair.
If you're from Cleveland, come at me. I'd love to know.
You think that in places like that, like that's where like all the like shady, dirty stuff happens.
Yeah, that's where the super niche kinks come from.
But I think Cleveland's just unfortunately boring.
I think it's just plain as a piece of white bread, untoasted.
And they seem to revel in that, and that's okay. Yeah. Go for it.
The Cleve.
We'd all love to flee to the Cleve, Liz. Exactly.
All right, Balloonfest, 1986.
Action.
It's September 27th, 1986, and the city of Cleveland, Ohio is all abuzz. Ready to set a world record for releasing nearly 1.5 million balloons.
Yeah, that's great for the environment. In 1986, it's a biodegradable balloon.
No worries.
Yeah,
It's fine.
exactly.
6 months of prep went into this fundraiser.
My God.
Which was being held by an LA-based company. I'm sorry, the fundraiser was prepped by an LA-based company called Balloon Art by Treb. Treb Heining is the Treb in the aforementioned company name.
Thank you.
Stupid fucking name.
So mad about him.
The idea was to release 2 million balloons into the Cleveland sky in an attempt to beat the record for most balloons released that was currently held by Disney, who had set the record when they celebrated their 30th anniversary of Disneyland.
Oh, how many balloons did they put in the sky?
Under 1.5 million. I don't know the exact number, but it's
somewhere under that.
Yeah.
Got it. You would think it'd be something that was like associated with 3.
Right,
30.
30.
Right.
Yeah, maybe it was just like divisible by.
It was just 30 balloons.
And that's the record they had to beat. So like, we're going to do it by 2 million.
Correct. Fuck you, Disney.
Oh,
yeah.
incredible. But this whole event wasn't for shits and giggles. It was intentionally for a good cause.
Very serious.
You could buy 2 balloons for $1,
Okay.
which is $2.86 in 2024.
That's a steal.
Right? And the money would go to support United Way.
Oh, okay. Nice.
United Way being a massive network of nonprofit fundraising affiliates.
Yeah.
So children sold the sponsorships, other people sold sponsorships, whatever.
Yeah.
And then you got your name on a balloon or 2, depending on how many you bought.
Nice.
And then someone somewhere benefited from the balloon.
Love it.
Great. Good
Someone
cause.
somewhere benefited.
Well, there was never any like specifics like of where this money was going to.
Oh, good.
It was just United Way. So
And honestly, United Way,
yeah.
like they're good. Like what they're trying to do is good, but anytime I've had to interact with them in a professional setting has always just left me wanting more and frustrated.
Yeah.
It's just not, it doesn't seem to be well managed.
Sure.
I think some things are more successful for them than others, and they really focus on the successful things.
Yeah.
And they're like, I guess 211's important, so we'll keep it going. And I'm like, guys, this is your bread and butter.
Yeah, I feel from my brief reading of United Way, it's more like, yeah, we donate. Like 20% of our funds get donated. The 80% goes into our pockets.
Correct.
That's the vibe I get from United Way.
Fair.
If you're from United Way, come at me. Prove me wrong.
Oh, Devin's like calling out
people out.
a lot of yeah.
It's a
You're
new
going
year.
for it.
Fuck
Yeah,
'em.
yeah. Get a blue sky war going.
2,500 volunteers, which were mostly high school students, spent hours and hours filling up the balloons with helium. Mm-hmm. So I did some math for you all.
Thank you.
Based off of the numbers provided by the brilliant folks at the Creative Balloons Manufacturing Incorporated. Real place, real website. Look it up.
Look it up.
Okay, so assuming these balloons were the standard 11-inch latex balloons to fill just 100,000 balloons, you would need 50,000 cubic feet of helium, which would be held in just over 206 standard helium tanks.
Oh my God.
So add a 0 to all that, you would need 500,000 cubic feet of helium to fill 1 million balloons. Multiply by 2. Will get you 1 million cubic feet of helium to fill 2 million balloons, which was their goal. That helium would be contained in just over 4,132 standard helium tanks.
That's
That's
insane.
a fuck ton. Now, is there a finite amount of helium on this planet? Of course there is.
Of course there is.
According to some articles, we might have somewhere between 100 to 200 more years of it left at the current consumption rate. Did this event impact those numbers? Probably.
100% it impacted those numbers. That's crazy.
I just couldn't wrap my brain around, like, 2 million balloons is a lot of balloons. It's a lot of balloons. But then, like, just thinking about how much helium and how many helium tanks we needed to fill all those balloons.
Right.
And, like, there's only 2,500 volunteers just standing there filling balloon after balloon. You know, some of them like popped or like blew away. So like there's more than 2 million.
You're definitely inhaling some helium.
Also, especially if they're mostly high school students.
Correct.
That's so silly.
Ignorant question. What do we need helium for?
Helium is used for a lot of different things. And I am going to quickly Google them. One of them I remember is for welding. I think specifically arc welding is a big usage for it. But then also, of course, parade balloons.
Sure.
Yeah, that's what I kind of thought too. There's also for like medical uses in helium. Heliox mixtures. This is from RockyMountainAirSolutions.com.
Incredible.
Their article, 10 uses for helium, more than balloons and blimps.
And blimps.
Just citing my sources. So medical uses, Heliox mixtures in respiratory treatments for asthma, bronchitis, and other lung deficiencies. MRI magnets, apparently. Oh, wow. That's crazy. In the construction of high-speed internet and cable for TV and whatnot, those fiber optic cables have to be manufactured in pure helium atmosphere in order to ensure air bubbles don't get trapped inside the cables. Oh, so there's a lot of other uses that in the manufacturing world, and then also to like clean rocket fuel tanks.
Can we?
And I guess in airbags for your car.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So can we make helium?
No. Helium is one of those things that's just like one of the elements that like we haven't been able to make. We could probably, if we figure this out, most likely farm it out from space.
Oh, okay.
But once helium's gone on Earth, it's gone.
Interesting. We just have like, I just imagine it's like one long tube going to space.
But yeah, that's helium for you.
That's crazy. Oh, man.
Enjoy it while you got it.
Do you think it'll be gone in our lifetime?
I don't think so. I mean, it said 100 to 200 more years, and I did that like from today.
Oh, okay.
So
we got some time. We'll be fine.
We'll be dead.
I get to have a squeaky voice for as long as I want. Perfect.
My grandchildren won't be able to enjoy the Bluey blimp.
The Blue who popped? Didn't he pop?
He did.
Oh, Bluey.
So sad. So we're back to the tanks of helium. We have thousands of helium tanks to fill millions of balloons.
Truly
by a couple thousand volunteers, mostly high school students.
Which, horrible organizing.
Yeah.
But sure.
One volunteer described it as if they were on an assembly line, that the production just never stopped. Obviously, thousands of people filling millions of balloons. But don't worry, they all got a t-shirt for their troubles.
Oh, thank God.
I just hope they were in a well-ventilated space.
Yeah. They're like, we're going to do this in the field house and keep the doors closed.
No windows. Right. Doors closed.
Incredible.
To house all of these balloons, a 250 by 150 foot structure was set up on the southwest quadrant of Cleveland's public square.
Oh my God.
So that's about the size of a city block.
Yeah.
And then it was also 3 stories high to contain it.
Oh my, okay.
And it was covered with a single massive net made of woven mesh material. So nice and soft. Won't pop any balloons.
It's very true. And then you could see the balloons.
Exactly.
Okay.
You could see them all. Ready to go.
Right. What if it was like storming that day?
Well.
Okay.
United Way made the decision to not launch 2 million balloons and stop short of 1.5.
Okay.
Probably for the best.
Yes.
So the day of the launch approaches. Saturday, September 27th, 1986.
Okay.
Balloonfest 86.
Wait, pause.
Yeah.
You keep saying Balloonfest 86.
Yeah.
Which is the title of it.
Right.
Am I to believe that there have been previous and then a Balloonfest post as well? Or just the one Balloonfest?
I believe there were plans to do more balloon releases.
Got it. Okay.
And I think it was just kind of like of the times to be calling things like, oh, blah, 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 86, you know?
Got it. Okay. Heard.
Kind of thing.
Okay.
This is, as far as I know, the only balloon fest.
Got it. In Cleveland, at least.
Right.
Yeah. Cleveland's been scorned after this. Yeah. Okay.
So it's Saturday, September 27th, 1986. Venus by Bananarama is on the radio, or maybe Take My Breath Away by Berlin is on instead. Depends on what station you're listening to.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
It doesn't really matter, though, because you've got balloons on your mind.
Balloons.
Just like everyone else in Cleveland. The city has gone balloon mad. However, just like Nick predicted, a rainstorm was approaching the city.
But also, because like 80s moms, right?
Yeah.
Like, they're in it.
Yeah.
They're excited. They're pumped. They're crafty.
Finally, something to do with the kids.
Right. That the balloons was just everything.
Yeah.
All
Everyone's so excited.
Someone
what else
dressed
are you
up
do
with
in
like
Cleveland?
balloon paraphernalia on them. Like, it was a whole thing.
Yeah.
Oh, Devin, we need to go back to 1986 Cleveland to witness this.
Go see when my sister was born.
Right. So cute.
She was 23 days old by now.
Aw. You could see your 23-day-old sister.
So, a rainstorm is approaching the city.
Mm-hmm.
And instead of rescheduling the whole event, impossible to do, the organizers just decided to release the balloons early.
Oh, sure.
Which I think is shitty, because it's like, I was planning to be here at this time.
Right.
And the day of, you're going to tell me you're going to release it early?
That's madness. That's chaos.
My kid had soccer practice that morning.
All 12 people in Cleveland are trying to see the balloons.
There was actually 100,000 people there.
That's a lot of
That
people.
is a lot of people. Hold on. I was curious as to the population of Cleveland, Ohio.
In 1986.
It was about 1,705,000.
Okay. So still like 10%.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not a bad turnout.
Not a bad turnout. We'll take it.
Yeah.
I'm sure everyone else was like, I can see this from my home because 2 million balloons are getting launched into the
Traffic's
sky.
going to be too bad.
Right. I don't need to be at the warehouse.
I got to watch paint dry.
Truly.
So 1:50 p.m. local time. Mm-hmm. Balloons are being released early, so in front of a crowd of over 100,000 people, nearly 1.5 million balloons are released and rose up from the public square, swirling around Terminal Tower, which is, I guess, their big tower in Cleveland.
Okay.
Cleveland beat Disneyland's record. Finally, Ohio actually won something.
They did it!
But of course, I wouldn't be talking about Balloonfest 86 if everything went according to plan.
Correct. I mean, maybe. What a jolly story
Right.
to tell. Yeah. And everyone was happy.
That's it.
Helium was saved.
Just a quick 20-minute story.
Yeah.
Helium was saved. So things didn't go very according to plan.
Yeah.
A cold front had rolled in right at the time of the launch because of that rainstorm that caused the early release.
Right.
So that storm brought in some cold air, which had a negative effect on the balloons.
Yeah.
Balloon science states when a helium-filled latex vessel or balloon is released outdoors, it will typically fully deflate before returning to the realm of man here on Gaia. However, with the cold front that came through, it caused most, if not all, of the balloons to descend down upon the onlookers, the city, and the greater Cleveland area while still fully inflated. This caused quite the mess, as I'm sure you can guess.
That's incredible.
So a lot of things happened. Land and waterways were clogged in the northeast region of Ohio. A few days after the event, it was reported that several balloons had washed ashore on the Canadian side of Lake Erie.
Oh my God.
Burke Lakefront Airport had to shut down for 30 minutes or so as balloons fell onto their runways.
Could you imagine trying to take off? You're just hitting balloons.
Yeah. Multiple traffic collisions were reported, quote, as drivers swerved to avoid slow motion blizzards of multicolored orbs or took their eyes off the road to gawk at the overhead spectacle, end quote.
To gawk. Incredible.
the balloons spooked some horses on a pasture in
Sure.
Guega County, which allegedly caused permanent injuries to the horses.
Oh no.
And while ignoring all of the environmental backlashes from the things I just listed, they're all fairly silly. The last effect from this balloon release that I'll talk about isn't quite so silly.
Although I will say, the horses thing sounds like someone didn't do something right. The horses got hurt, and they were like, the balloons.
It was the balloons.
The balloons
definitely.
did it.
Yeah. Now that one was a little fishy.
Yeah.
So at the same time that this was going on, the Coast Guard were conducting a search for two fishermen, Raymond Broderick and Bernard Sulzer.
Okay.
They had gone on a fishing trip on September 26th and were reported missing the following day, the day of the balloon launch.
Okay.
One of the rescue team had spotted their fishing boat anchored west of the Edgewater Park breakwall, but couldn't approach the area in their helicopter because of the, quote, asteroid field, quote, of balloons in their path. The guard attempted to spot the fishermen from a rescue boat, but the balloons floating in the water made it difficult to spot if any humans were actually floating in the water. On September 29th, they wound up suspending their search, and the bodies of the fishermen eventually washed ashore. However, the search and rescue program manager for Coast Guard District 9, Roger Rice, said in a 2024 interview, can't believe we're talking about this in 2024.
That's crazy.
An official stance. Like, obviously, yeah, I'm going to talk about it. Fuck it.
But also, why not wait the 2 years for the 40th anniversary?
Exactly.
You're almost there.
Right. We could wait.
Right.
Anyway, so Roger Rice said in this interview that the balloons that came from Balloonfest 86 had nothing to do with the death of the fishermen.
Sure.
I think they might have been rescued a little sooner.
Right.
They might have already been dead by the time like Coast Guard got there, but like who knows?
But also, like, what's the time frame difference from when
Yeah.
they got there and when the balloons happened?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, yes, they were probably most likely had passed by that point, but also how? There's so many. I have more questions about the fishermen.
Yeah, well, I feel like Lake Erie in September is
Still fine.
should still be
I mean,
okay.
it's chilly, I'm sure, but like
Right.
not too horrible.
Yeah.
Especially if you get a boat. I just love how devastating these balloons were to the entire Cleveland area.
Right.
But also, like, what did you think was going to happen when all your balloons started to pop in the sky?
Right, and then all that latex is falling down
Right.
into the nature, and like birds are going to die, animals are going to die. I'm sure that still happened.
Right.
But like, damn.
That's crazy.
Yeah. The 80s, man.
The
Fucking
80s. That's nuts.
wild. So, of course, United Way wound up being sued from several different people.
There it is.
The owner of the horses sued for $100,000 in damages and settled for undisclosed terms. They claimed they were the best type of horse in the world out there. So,
of course.
Yeah. One of the wives of the fishermen sued United Way and Balloon Art by Treb, stupid name, for $3.2 million, but also wound up settling on undisclosed terms. And with all the other lawsuits and damages that the event caused, the fundraiser, so unsurprisingly, wound up losing money instead of raising it.
Shocking.
Right. The only good thing to come out of this is that the edition of the Guinness Book of World Records that was released in 1988 did include Balloonfest 86 as holding the, quote, largest ever mass balloon release, end quote, with 1,429,643 balloons launched. Unfortunately for balloon enthusiasts, Guinness no longer measures balloon releases.
I thank you, because we don't need to waste that anymore. But also, like, was it still? I guess it was technically a release.
Yeah, they all
went away.
They were no longer captive.
That's insane. That's insane. Like, why not just wait?
Yeah, well, like they had a brief moment of flying around Cleveland, but then they just the wind took them away and settled them back down.
Hysterical.
Isn't that great?
Hysterical.
Gotta love it.
That's wild.
Yeah, and that's Balloonfest 86.
Is there footage of it?
Are there pictures?
Oh, okay.
There might be footage out there. I don't
Okay.
remember. I didn't look for footage, but
Sure.
I've seen pictures of it. And it's cool to see all those balloons flying around whatever tower is important to Cleveland.
Whatever 12-story building you have in Cleveland. Yeah.
Grain silo.
Yeah.
That's really mean.
But he's standing by it, kids.
But like, so that's like pretty. It's cool. It's
Sure.
like a fun little like fictional piece of art. Very fantastical.
Yes.
But like fucking idiots.
Honestly, there wasn't like one scientist there that was
I'm
like,
sure there
hey,
was.
by the way, maybe don't.
Yeah.
Crazy.
I'm sure there was like one or two pencil pusher, pocket protector folk out there. It's the 80s. You got to call them nerds.
Says the nerd. Yeah. Anyway, that's hysterical. I'm gonna look up some footage because I also do imagine as the balloons are coming down, there has to be a few people just like running in terror,
right?
And I think that's really funny because it's balloons,
right? It's very like their terror is at the scale of like the Hindenburg, where it's like, oh, the humanity, and they're just getting pelted with soft balloons,
right? So it's like, oof.
I liked the slow moving blizzard that like caused all the traffic jams.
I'm gonna need that recreation. Yeah. Incredible.
Can we get like an A24 movie about this?
Please,
come on,
please. Like make it like really like horror.
Yeah.
I like it.
Just the balloon like coming from the trees to kill you,
but it hits. It's really soft. Yeah. Amazing.
So yeah, that's Balloonfest 86. Thanks for listening, everybody. Thanks for listening, Nick. Really
you,
stupid,
Dev.
easy topic today.
I love it.
So thanks for listening. Make sure to check us out all over the internet at WDYK_podcast. But also we recently joined Blue Sky, and that's a crazy handle. It's at WDYK.BSKY. I think you can just say .bsky. .social. Just search us on the internet.
Is that everyone's handle?
Yeah, unless you pay money or you're a developer.
That's
I think.
so frustrating.
I don't know too much about it. I'm not really going to learn.
Okay.
So follow us on the internet.
Yeah.
And we'll catch you next time.
All right. Cool.
I think that's all I'm going to say. All right. Bye.
Goodbye.